Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. I am Jessica Delmar. In this episode, we are talking about pillars of construct of our society that has really shaped our reality and our participation within our reality, especially when it comes to society and institutions and stuff like that. And so what came through is information about the shift that we're going through right now, especially with the breakdown of a lot of these institutions, these pillars of society, these essentially pillars of construct that create the society that we exist within. And so we're going to talk about that, 3D versus 5D pillars of construct, and the shift between 3D and 5D. And we're also going to bring through some energy updates regarding what's next. I want to first start off by giving an energy update of something that's been coming through that wants to be shared, even though I may not necessarily have 100% of the details. This is not fear-based at all. It's just simply something to bring into your awareness to be mindful of in understanding the unfolding of everything that's going on. So what's been coming through a lot lately is the directions, north, south, east, and west. But one thing that the guides really want to make aware is do not get so stuck on north, south, east, and west, especially when it comes to location or directional energy, if it means a separation from the whole. Because if we think of north, south, east, and west, we can think of 4 separate directions. But we're moving into a space where even though they may seem separate, they're just different energies. So by us labeling it north, south, east, and west, we separate the energy. But if you were to close your eyes and you just feel the energy of north, south, east, and west, that's more in alignment to the shifts that we're making right now when we refer to north, south, east, and west. We're not referring to it as a separation based upon location, for example. So the powerful energy that was coming through was the energy of west. And again, it's not necessarily the direction per se. It could be, but it did connect me to America and possibly the West Coast, but I'm not really boxing anything in at this moment. What came through is a powerful tidal wave or really big wave of energy approaching from the West, or will integrate within the West, something to do with this West energy. And what came through is that this means powerful shifts along the West, and it could be the West Coast, it could be the West country-wise, or anything else, but we'll kind of just leave that open at this moment and not box ourselves in. The energy of an earthquake came through. More specifically, magnitude 5 is what came through, but also keep in mind with these visions, there's a lot of different interpretations. So magnitude 5, the number 5 could mean something else. Even the vision of an earthquake and that energy of an earthquake could very much mean something else, kind of like something that stirs energy or that cracks something open. So I'm just sharing what came through, leave it open in terms of interpretation and how things unfold. So earthquake energy, what came through is that it cracks open something within this West energy. Again, it could be within the Americas. Very much what opened from there was the 3D political system and this pillar of our society, of our societal constructs that have to do with the political system of government. And so we've spoken about before in terms of all of these different pillars of our society. Shifting from 3D into 5D means a crumbling of the 3D pillars in order to rebirth the 5D pillars of our society. And so we're kind of witnessing and going through the crumbling of these institutions and structures that once held up and was the foundation of our society and our collective and our reality in 3D. And all of that has to crumble in order to be reconstructed and rebuilt in 5D energy and something more in alignment with 5D. Because these pillars and these foundations within 3D that created our society, those major institutions and systems, that energy does not align to the vibration of 5D, so it can't exist within the 5D construct of what we're creating. So something new has to be rebuilt and created. The thing that kept coming through is that it's going to open up eyes. People will see. I asked, when does this wave of energy take place? And what came through, of course, again, there's no such thing as time, so we're not really boxing ourselves into any sort of time. But again, it kind of took me into the earthquake. So whether it's a physical earthquake or just an energetic earthquake, meaning a rumbling of energy, an energy wave that comes forth from non-physical. After that happens, then it opens things up, because it showed me an earthquake that cracks open the earth and exposes things within the earth. It showed me underground tunnels. It showed me things like basically hidden that you would think, here on the surface of Earth we can't see. So if you crack the earth open, there's a lot of things hidden beneath the surface that we can't see, but will be seen, will be now visible to us through these cracks. So what came through is that it will be enough for people to see what is hidden from sight. It did direct my attention to California specifically, and what came through is that California is woven into a silent war, an invisible war. California is an epicenter for a war that you do not see. The God source within many of you lightworkers are opening a portal to make visible what is invisible, to open truth to what has been shown as deception. Your light bodies working in the astral realm have been waiting for this moment to expose truth to the darkness hidden beneath the surface. Timing is crucial in order to awaken as many people as possible in one wave of energy. And that's why maybe that earthquake energy came through, it's a powerful wave of energy, whether again physical or non-physical. Something is going to crack open to expose truth that is not necessarily seen with our visible eyes, but something much, much deeper and unseen, something hidden. And again, with the West energy, it may or may not be coastal, it may or may not be the Western part of the world, but it's something within that Western energy. And then it showed me, especially with that earthquake type of cracking open, there's an energy wave that ripples out from there, so it affects the whole world in one way or another. So I do want to show you guys something that's been coming through regarding these pillars of construct within 3D and then also in 5D. But in this episode, I'm just going to share a couple of these constructs in 3D, and then I'll create another episode, if not a couple more episodes, to describe more of this information along with the pillars of construct as we shift into 5D. So just to show you this 3D construct, I created this illustration. I'll provide these slides in the show notes, as well as put them on the screen in the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. But basically, the 3D construct of rule came through, and it includes 4 powerful pillars or institutions within the 3D construct of rule that sort of boxes the collective in the 3D form of thought, if you will, or the 3D cycle of manifestation. And these 4 pillars are religion, healthcare, education, and government or politics. You can also see on the slide that it's kind of set up in the directional energy, north, south, east, and west. And that's how it sort of opened up for me originally with the direction, especially with the healthcare being in that eastern direction and the government and politics being in the western energy. However, again, the guides are trying to take me out of the directional energies, and although it may be connected somehow, don't see it as the directions upon which we label it as north, south, east, and west, but feel the directions in terms of vibrational energy, not necessarily separate in terms of directions, such as north, south, east, and west in that label aspect, but they're definitely not separate. They're blending together, and they're just different feeling energies. The 4 pillars that reflect the construct of our 3D reality is based upon our 3D collective energy. And within this illustration is the within core, and what came through is that the within in a 3D construct of rule is the shadow of the 3D construct, meaning this is what is hidden. And the without in this illustration is sort of the energy that encapsulates everything. And the without energy is the light of the 3D construct. In other words, what you can see. So very much in the 3D construct of rule is this sort of separation aspect very powerfully, very strongly. And it keeps everything separate, even within these directional energies. And this is because polarity, duality, and separation is part of that 3D construct of rule within our 3D consciousness. These 4 pillars are pillars of society, and as part of society, especially if you exist within 3D, you take the energy of your 3D participation in society and therefore feed it back into the collective consciousness. So again, this is part of this sort of cycle of energy that further strengthens this 3D construct of rule. So there is a within and a without. But in the 3D construct of rule, that is kept separate, versus when you move into 5D, the within and the without are connected, as within, so without. It's the same thing, it's a reflection, but in 3D, it's very much separate, meaning as within is very much shadow aspects that are hidden. As without are things that you can physically see, things that are tangible, things in your reality. And there's no connection there. There's no deeper connection. To dive further into this 3D construct of rule, there were 2 things that came through regarding media and finance. And these 2 things are powerful aspects of our society that are not pillars of society in terms of these 4 pillars, but they still are powerful forces that maintain this 3D construct of rule. What came through is that the media is the entertainment source that continues or feeds the construct of the 3D illusion. Finance is not an institution or a pillar of the 3D construct of rule, but it is the blood that opens life into the whole structure. Finance, or the blood of 3D, contributes to much of the lower vibrations that cycle through 3D energy and construct, which keeps the cycle of the 3D construct alive. This includes the energy of fear, lack, anxiety, depression, etc., but also physical manifestations regarding finance and everything that kind of branches out from a financial institution or just the manifestation of money, which includes things such as drugs, trafficking, inequality, poverty, war, sickness. All of them, at the core of it, is about money or finance in some way. And also, the financial institution or system really feeds into, again, it's the blood, it feeds into these 4 pillars, and it's the life force within these 4 pillars, which create and make up the 3D construct of rule. The 4 pillars of the 3D construct were created not for the people, but in order to uphold the control efforts of those in power. An interesting thing that came through was the halls of Amenti, and this is not something I am too familiar with, but I am going to dive further into the halls of Amenti and share it with you in a later episode. But just quickly, what came through regarding this 3D construct connected to the halls of Amenti is that the halls of Amenti is what has fed the 3D construct of thought, because those who are in power within the 3D construct have been able to access the collective mind through the halls of Amenti. I'm just going to share with you what came through regarding the halls of Amenti and this 3D construct of rule. The halls of Amenti is where the energy for the 4 columns or the 4 pillars of the 3D construct come from. The halls of Amenti tap into the consciousness of man, and for those who can access the consciousness of man, depending upon the vibration of who is accessing this information and this consciousness, can come forth a powerful construct of rule upon man. Meaning, there is a powerful force that has tapped into the halls of Amenti of your collective for quite some time. And in tapping into the halls of Amenti, the force of energy has basically been able to tap into the very brain and mind of your collective. This powerful force is not one person, but a group of souls desiring to control the construct of 3D. Again, going back to this 3D construct of rule and the 4 pillars, these 4 pillars were created to uphold the control efforts of those who are in power within the 3D construct of rule. But many independent souls on the ascension journey have taken back their power and sovereignty so that their energy is not confined or restricted within the construct of 3D that has been built by this other group of souls desiring power and control. And so, as more and more people exit the 3D construct of rule that was set for the collective of unawakened minds, more energy is then poured into a new construct to create a new reality in alignment to the vibration of the souls who left the old construct. And so you create the new 5D construct, which is not about control or rule over people through duality-based programs. But the 5D construct is a construct based on open thought in alignment with vibrational energy that is more freely expressed. And with this free form of energy, you, as a collective of higher vibrational beings, create a reality construct that aligns to the manifestation of this free form of energy. So that's where I'm going to stop for this episode, and in the next episode, we're going to go through these constructs and talk about whatever needed to come through between the 3D construct and the 5D construct and the shifts between the two. But what we do need to know is that these 4 pillars within the 3D construct are crumbling, and when we're aware of this and we see it playing out in our reality, it helps us to connect more to that divine inner being that's leading us within ourselves, within our sovereign beingness as light workers or light holders, holding light and being the light for those who are unawakened and for those who haven't yet claimed their power and their sovereignty. And as these pillars of the 3D construct crumble, you have to understand that this is happening within the 3D realm. If you align your vibration to 5D, then you are aligning to a different vibrational frequency or construct, which creates a new reality. And so, although you may see the playing out of the 3D construct of crumbling, you are vibrationally existing on a different layer. And in trusting your divine inner being to guide you and to lead you, you will always be exactly where you need to be, and everything will always be unfolding perfectly for you. Thank you everyone for listening in. Know that you are an extension of Source, having a physical experience. So in everything that you do, do with love, an open heart, and an open mind. And you'll realize the greater experiences held between the lines of your reality and now moment.